welcome to The Middlemen. I am Juro Olajumoke James, and with me today on the show are Juro Cyril Abaku, who will be going to South Africa, where President Tinubu attended the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa as president for a second term. Juro Evans Ufeli, who will be examining the error of judgment in the move to create a new state. Last but not the least, Juro Emeka Madunagu, who will be telling us a personal story of how Nigeria happened to two of his relatives. I will be analyzing the New York Times report on Nigeria's economic crisis. All of these conversations will happen after this short break. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Middleman.
And you're welcome back to The Middlemen. My case. In its article, Nigeria confronts its worst economic crisis in a generation, written by Ruth McLean and Ismail Awal, the New York Times spoke about how in just 2 years, Africa's biggest population and economy is about to become Africa's fourth economy. It said, and I quote, "A nation of entrepreneurs, Nigeria's more than 200 million citizens are skilled at managing in tough circumstances without the services states usually provide." End of quote. Where is the lie? The article spoke about the economic hardship being faced by Nigerian citizens and how workers are protesting a minimum wage of less than $20 a month. The article also mentioned women lacking calcium, people dying in stampedes desperate for free sacks of rice, and went on to say the hardship was caused by the new government, which was elected 15 months ago, with the removal of fuel subsidies and floating of the naira. More like devaluation of the naira. The article said more than 87 million people in Nigeria live below the poverty line, quoting families across the country who have to sell property to pay hospital bills, no money for milk, and so on. Let me quote another part of the article. Many Nigerians said the subsidy was the only useful contribution from a neglectful and predatory government. End quote. The Nigerian president's media aides have been running helter-skelter to deny the facts in the article, however. Bayo Ononuga quickly wrote a State House rejoinder titled "New York Times Jaundiced Report on Nigeria's Current Economic Situation." He said, and I quote, that the New York Times article reflected the typical predetermined, reductionist, derogatory, and denigrating way foreign media establishments reported African countries for several decades. My verdicts. Ogabayo, see this one out. Nigerians will not become wealthy by propaganda and big English.
Very correct. The same Bayo was he on the moon when APC, pushed out the article that the Washington Post article?
Oh, of course.
Bloomberg article that called Jonathan clueless.
Yes.
They were pushing it all over the place.
It
went around then has not come back.
Oh yeah.
Because in that article said a lot of things, that were reflected in this New York Times article. So it's just a matter of years, and now they were very vibrant. Now that they can't even hold a candle to just.
So Jonathan, I agree.
No, I
don't even know what Bayo Onanuga is trying to defend. Yeah, you are defending the indefensible. First of all, he went on a voyage of intellectual stagnation by saying that a renowned professor in this country had said that Tinubu inherited a dead economy. In the same line, he said the country was bleeding and needed urgent surgery. Okay, so he contradicted himself. A dead economy and a country bleeding. I mean, something that is dead. Yeah, so the rejoinder was unfortunate. he wrote an unfortunate rejoinder because you see, the article from the New York Times chronicled our misfortune. And we are all aware, even a 2-year-old in Nigeria know that what we have there, what we have contained there is our current wolf, our current
reality,
suffering is as a result of the emergence of this government in 2023. Yeah. And that they came in without tact, without plan, without any semblance of strategy to lead. So it was just a euphoria, just come in and start making statements anyhow you like. But they forget that the moment you take people out of track, to bring them back
it's difficult.
It's very difficult. You know, most subsidies saying that you floated the naira, the economy jumped into chaos.
They float the naira. They tell us that they float the naira. They just devalue. So if somebody was saying you have to devalue to float, you know, but they were still
it doesn't matter what they did. What happened is that the consequence of their action brought us to this point where we are.
I agree.
And now the country is unable to recover from that.
Yes.
And they have not been able to put together any form of palliative to cushion the effect of that. And that's what the New York Times just
basically put out.
So what is the the Prime Minister now went further to say that it is not this government. That was the government before this one. The question now is, the government before this one, which party? Is it not the same political party?
Well, you know the ones inside the same
basically, they enjoyed your support.
Yes.
And the current
they are part of the government now.
I think on man, and besides that, there was an issue that came up about Buhari's record. As at then, I'm not sure if President Tinubu had been inaugurated. It was either during the campaign or after the election day last year. But Onoga wrote copiously. I mean, I respect him as an elder in the but he copiously wrote an article defending President Buhari, especially in agriculture. How Nigerian rice farmers began to celebrate after the borders have been closed. I think that, like Mr. Mika, like Jeremiah said, what goes around comes around. And like you put in your conclusion, you cannot run government by propaganda. And you see, the thing is this: in fairness, the Western media has always, I mean, we call it media imperialism, right? True. You don't need to do good or do bad for them to write as they want to write about you.
True.
But today we're Nigerians.
Yeah.
And the truth is something we can see with our eyes.
Very true.
As they say, if they
we're now selling yam in slices.
Nigerians are not selling yams in slices. And for copy. You can't buy pepper. You can't buy salt.
And you
can't
buy milk.
I'm talking of raw yam. You buy it in slices and go home to cook.
Yes.
But you cannot afford a tuber.
The worst part of it is that Nigeria is the highest producer of yam in the world.
In the world. And yet we're not able to.
Well, because last year,
take our yam seedling,
go and cultivate them in Ghana and export as Ghana yams.
Are you even aware that last year, I think in July also, there was declared emergency, state of emergency, what do they call it? On what's it called? On food. There was a plan which I think then Delalake was still the president's spokesperson. You know, the cabinet was here to be in place on food, and then they said all kinds of things that they're going to give grace also to farmers and stuff like that. This is an economy in which
now introducing GMO, even though
CBN
Additional did introduce GMO. They are now giving it beautiful names, and farmers are crying.
GMO is not even good for us because already we can by our arable land we can actually cultivate as much as we want. Yeah, because GMO have its own implication. It's genetically modified.
Yes,
they are not
it will not natural seedling. Cancer will now become like malaria.
And then the fruit will get rotten easily. And we don't have storage system.
And then you have to go and continually buy the seed.
Yes. And once the body system is used to it, it becomes a pattern. So that's not even what we need. We can actually grow this thing organically and have them.
You have to secure the farmland.
Yes, and
have them. Cannot be
the fact is that there's no part of the world where oil and gas, petroleum has been used to build an economy, build a civilization. Even Russia and Ukraine, you know that the people who export wheat to us a lot.
Yes.
Now, so the point is that any plan by any country to become a power in its own right must be built on agriculture primarily.
Yes.
Because agriculture was
Because
what got even oil is a kind of agriculture. The whole wealth of man is buried
beneath the air. But you know now,
some
location now have special grace on some kind of plant. On some kind of plant.
Yes.
You understand? Then that becomes your trademark.
Yes.
Okay, talk about wheat now. We're looking at Russia as a destination. When there's war there, the price of yam, price of bread and all that we increase and all that. So we in Nigeria we have several of it, from granite to
rubber
to cocoa.
But we're put it together.
Which was against the law. Which was also against the law. Because I think that there's a law that says that you cannot export raw. You see, agriculture is not just for food. Agriculture is for man and for society. There's something in those yams that is used for pharmaceutical purposes. There's even pharmaceutical agriculture, right? Agriculture for pharmacy purely. Nigeria is not willing to sit down and think and say, how can we sit back and now the ones that you exported.
The whole value chain.
Exactly, processing. The allied nurses. That's how wealth is created. The clothes you wear, the extensions that that we use, the threads we use, pomades, all kinds of things, creams, powder, and so on. They all come from agriculture.
Yes.
Including housing.
Petroleum jelly. And
yes, everything comes from there.
Okay, I think I need to remind us not to cry for Nigeria. When we return after this short break, Cyril Abak will be going to South Africa. He's going to be talking about President Tinubu and how he was treated, very warmly by President Cyril, his namesake Ramaphosa. Please stay with us, we'll be right back.
Middleman. You're welcome back to the Middleman. My case, a crazy trip. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in South Africa to witness the inauguration of Cyril Ramaphosa for a second term as president of the Rainbow Nation. First was that he went in a borrowed jet, allegedly belonging to his business partners, the Shagoris. At the event, our president was clearly snubbed by his hosts, the president of South Africa. All other events so arranged for the optics of saving face won't fly in any way whatsoever. Don't give it to me, please. Anybody with decent sense knows that what happened was like turning President Tinubu into some party of sorts. Our president is being isolated internationally. How do we not see this? The embarrassment was massive. Ramaphosa even stopped his wife from greeting the president of Nigeria.
Oh.
Now to the next related matter. How did the president travel in a borrowed vehicle owned, as we're learning, by his business associates, the Chaguris? Reason. Now you wait for it. The presidency has spent over 80 billion naira since 2016 on the presidential fleet, which is being managed by the Office of the National Security Advisor. The Boeing business jet, BBJ, our own Air Force One, was bought at about $43 million when Olusegun Obasanjo was president. It is understood that there are 10 aircraft in the presidential fleet, including 6 jets and 4 helicopters. They are Boeing business jets 737, Gulfstream G550, Gulfstream G500, 2 Falcons 7X, HS4000, 2 Augusta 139, and 2 Augusta 101. The breakdown of the past maintenance budgets on the presidential air fleet is as follows, if you can take it. In 2016, 3.65 billion naira. In 2017, 4.37 billion naira. In 2018, 7.26 billion naira. In 2019, 7.30 billion naira. In 2020, 6.79 billion naira. In 21, 12.55 billion naira. In 22, 12.48 billion naira. And in 23, about 25.7 billion naira, which comprised 13 billion in the budget and 12.7 billion in the supplementary budget.
Wow.
If you recall, former President Muhammadu Buhari in October 2016 proposed to sell 2 aircraft, the Dassault Falcon 7X executive jet and a Beechcraft Hawker 4000 business jet. The preferred bidders had agreed to pay $24 million for the 2 aircraft, but later reduced their offer to $11 million, which was rejected by the Buhari government. The end of this long story is that the president and his vice, that is namely President Bola Tinubu and Shettima, now need new aircrafts. Who knows? Sometimes the way you travel determines the way you are treated. My verdict: God save Nigeria.
Hey, it was a comedian.
Me here.
It was a comedian.
Boss.
A comedian said recently that this country is the state of Shettima, and that the country might expire soon. You see, but the kind of thing we see in Nigeria is like the madman that went mad and his family member didn't feel the need to take care of him early enough until he got to the market square. And from the jurisprudence of madness, once your insanity takes you to the market square,
Nigeria has entered market square.
it becomes irreversible. So that is where we are now. You see, first, the president, I said on the morning show here on Enterprise TV 2 days ago, when we were discussing about the new jets and all that. And I said, see, the president should not travel any longer. There's no need.
It's an embarrassment internationally.
It's like I knew that he's going to embark on this trip where he will be snubbed, where a president of a country, South Africa, will, do that kind of a thing to the president of the largest concentrated black
Nation in the world.
And the chairman of Economic Community of West African States.
And all that. So, and stopped his wife from
even greeting an elder.
And then the president stood at the back.
I was smiling, trying to greet
of some other traditional.
He was trying to even greet his wife.
He was waving like a school child, like this, from afar.
Dennis Obeso was there.
Yes.
There are presidents on that line.
With their wives.
On that line. And
with their wives. You see, the meaning part is that the presidents had their wives in the front row. Nigeria, the biggest country in Africa.
In black.
Oh God!
This is interesting thing. People will ask, and so what? Biggest nation, who cares?
Big for what?
ECOWAS, so what?
Big for what?
All this, and so what?
One Ghanaian
you can be.
One Ghanaian said you are the biggest. I open my fridge, I don't see no Nigerian products.
So when you don't fight to back up all
your name, the reputation.
When you are just big for nothing.
Who is Cyril Ramaphosa, by the way?
It's just
he came to the fore in 1996. If you remember, when Mandela became president, Mandela said, "Okay, let us try and put some economic power in the hands of blacks." And then they now started forming companies that led to the MTN. You see today, one of them was MTN. Right? You see today. So he was part of it.
That's when it was discovered.
That's when it was discovered, and then they started grooming him, taking him up the ladder. And then today,
you see, the most painful part of how our president was treated was that in apartheid South Africa, Nigeria fought.
Not just.
That's why I asked it.
Nigeria fought.
So much. Because you know what, the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, was living in Ikoyi. Yeah, he schooled in Nigeria. Was living in Ikoyi here.
So many of Mandela himself was asked by Bazilika Mechi a lot in Yaba.
And Rochas Okorocha built a statue for Mbeki, and his people said, hold on, and his people said that they are building statue for a fraudulent leader. No. But now you see, the painful part for me is in fighting apartheid in South Africa, Nigeria's foreign policy was first West Africa and then Africa. We were the big brother of all blacks in the world, right? When they say in every black every 5 black people you see 1 Nigerian. We were not only big in size. When you see Nigerians all over the world, continue New York Times again.
Let me say,
we are entrepreneurs.
We are still big. It's just our government that is disgracing us. I travel a lot, and when I move around the world, the last one was from Heathrow to Lagos, where I went to change currency, and the guy that did the transaction from said, "Are you a Nigerian?" I say yes. He said, yes. I like Nigerians. They are the only sensible people in Africa. I said, no, don't say so. Don't say so. We are smart, we are good, we are intelligent, we are all that. I say, yes, I have a lot of Nigerian friends. I said, but you are Indian. I say, yes. You can't say that. If I make that kind of utterance, I mean, there was a time Bangladesh and which other country that broke out from Pakistan. Okay. If I compare India, Pakistan and the rest of them, and maybe I refer to the Pakistan as the most intelligent in that region, how will you feel about it? We are blessed for intelligence. Nigerians have that
special
forthrightness. Okay. The only thing we lack is leadership. Okay. And if you look at the second part of your case, where you're now talking about, because this is a double barrel, it's a double barrel case.
You kill 2 birds with one stone.
The first part is our international disgrace.
Yes,
and the second part is our municipal disgrace. where we have taken this amount of money, that would have revolutionized our system,
agriculture, education,
and we have plunged it into that. And you know, one thing is that areas that are very technical like this, it's difficult to audit. Send an accountant now to go and audit that thing. They'll be telling you that this machine or this equipment for this aircraft is this amount, and they'll call the name. The accountant will be confused. It's not a common area. Aviation is not. It's an area where you can dodge steal a lot, and people will still not know. Even accountant cannot audit anything. Because it's not an everyday, it's not like tomatoes, coconut that we know the price we can buy on a daily basis. You understand? Now we have spent this kind of money. All the aircraft, they are still not working. The president had to borrow one to go and run.
And they are now asking to buy a new one.
Yes. Why should you be traveling up and down? The president need not even go for that.
They said
that
for the inauguration, God bless you.
They said Nigeria's Air Force One.
That he went has done what for Nigeria. The NTA is now telling us that President Cyril Ramaphosa now went to President Tinubu's hotel room to go and discuss bilateral agreements. To what end? That's how they went to
I think it's
Saudi Arabia.
Face
saving.
But you
it's disgraceful because it indicates that Tinubu was ill. Was unable to attend. You see, there are things that
another angle.
There are things that our that government, those who frame policies in this country don't think about.
They don't know. They are not aware.
Sometimes when you even tell them, they say, I didn't realize it like that. You see, when you're in government, and you have to be careful how you frame words. You have to be careful the image you project. Because why? People read meanings into things. In positioning, for instance, if the US president invites Tinubu, for instance, people will be watching out. Where is he going to receive Tinubu?
Who will he take along?
Where will he meet with him? The highest honor a US president can give any foreign leader is to invite him to Camp David.
Yeah,
that is one.
Camp David is a welcome.
That is one. He can invite you and keep you just in a lodging. But if the president of the US invites you to play golf with him, listen, you are on first shoulder to shoulder with him. Ask anything. You have to. That was one. Remember, Yasser Arafat was invited to Camp David and spent some days there. So they don't realize that there are little things that you should not involve Nigeria in. The inauguration of South African president, Chetima could have gone there. It was not a big deal because one, South Africa is not even one of our biggest trading partners.
What of them? Let's start foreign affairs. You are ambassador yourself.
There is no economic value. There is no economic value.
Send Nigeria's ambassador in South Africa there.
If you look at the balance of trade, why was Keyamo disgracing himself trying to beg Emirates to come to Nigeria? if Nigeria was well run, Emirates would
be better Nigeria.
Emirates will rank among some of the lowest airlines in Nigeria.
Nigeria, yeah.
But the problem is, when you sit these people down and begin to tell them these things,
They don't know.
they prefer to disgrace themselves, maybe because of the per diem, they go the $1,000 per night. And you now tell me if Nigeria is working, look, you can sit down here, sit in Nigeria here, and all the money you need
to chase after you.
Will chase after you.
The excitement with which our president went to that place can only be likened to the proverbial antelope that jumped and broke his leg before the dance even began.
No, you don't need it. Why?
He went there. First, there was no aircraft to take you there. You have to start to hustle and get a car quickly heading to that place. You got the only economic benefit we have imported or derived from South Africa in the past 5 years was xenophobia. Now, that's
state sponsored.
Yes, that's the state sponsored. That's a xenophobic arrangement.
Yes.
Ramaphosa did not apologize to Nigeria till today on the issue.
He even showed us that he's not sorry. That he's not allowing his wife to greet our president.
Yes, so...
But hold on, there's conspiracy. This thing that Juro Evans just mentioned. Just before President Tinubu jetted out, he doubled, right?
For democracy.
For democracy on June 12th.
Stood up.
No, but the hurry in which he ran out. Because some of us were already predicting that he was going to France. So maybe no, I didn't even know he was going for Ramaphosa's inauguration where I predicted that one. A conspiracy.
The election the inauguration he went for, that election was free and fair.
Yes, sir.
The one that brought him to power was
that's why he was standing at the back.
And then they now
that's why they did not shake him.
And then they now said that because the jet Obasanjo bought is 20 years old, and because of that it is no longer usable. That's what they said.
That's what you want the president to die.
Aviation will tell that the older an aircraft the better it works. Hopefully our president.
So it's not about the age.
Yes, I just hope that Nigeria as a country will continue to learn her lessons and stop acting like the antelope who jumps and breaks his leg before even the dance begins. When we come back, Juro Evans Ofeli will be examining the error of judgment in the move to create a new state in our country yet again. That will be in a bit. Stay with us.
Middleman.
Welcome back. You are still watching The Middleman on Enterprise TV. Now my case. Proposal for state creation and the error of judgment. The lawmaker representing Delta North in the Senate, Senator Nwoko Ned, says he has presented a bill for the creation of Anioma state to correct historical oversight. The lawmaker said the proposal will address the long-standing imbalance in the geographical distribution of states in Nigeria. The new state proposed by Senator Nwoko is made up of 9 local government areas in the present Delta states. Nwoko said the creation of Anioma state is both urgent and compelling. This proposal addresses the long-standing imbalance in the geopolitical distribution of states in Nigeria. The proposal was commenced with a fundamental error, in my view. The senator referred to the Delta North Senatorial District as part of the Southeast, arguing that the creation of Anioma State will bring about equity in the Southeast, which had 5 states until now, as against other regions with 6 and 7 states respectively. This error is unfortunate, to say the least. The Delta North Senatorial District is not part of the Southeast, but South-South. And we are particularly pained that Senator Ned Nwoko has failed to appropriate his thoughts very well before undertaking such a proposal. We cannot cross the Niger by any form of proposal, as the demarcation is very clear. The senator did not consult before he came up with this proposal reading with errors. Otherwise, he would have been guided. The Anioma are located in the flood plain and hill of western basin of the Niger River within the present Delta state of Nigeria. The homeland of Anioma encompasses a landmass of about 6,300 kilometers. Politically, Anioma is often referred to in state affairs as Delta North, as against the people of Delta South and Delta Central District within Delta State. There are 25 local government areas in Delta States, and the 9 underneath make up the Anioma region. That is Aniocha North, Aniocha South, Ika South, Ika Northeast, Ndokwa East, Ndokwa West, Oshimili North, Oshimili South, Okwani. My verdict: whilst the creation of states is good for the state of Delta, we must get it right all around. Now, where does the Ndokwa Okwane man stand in all this? It must be noted that in terms of resources, the Ndokwa Okwane land is the most productive of all the aforementioned. And this must be recognized in the struggle before we ever get there. This must be factored into the struggle. And it must be accentuated that the Ndokwa Okwane land must not be relegated to the background or overrun by others. We must agree. The Delta North must agree to this clear fact, because the lack of agreement on this will lead to a big difference. And this may mount up to us a problem we may not be able to resolve. Anioma should count for us as a blessing. This advocacy is important and timeless. At the appointed time and now, we must call on all stakeholders to a meeting wherein the rules of engagement must be reached and agreed upon, so that we do not suffer same fate the second time. Ndokwa tieno no okukeni de mpa wo je nura nyi na azu erewa nura nyi na azu gbo anya afogare se obodo ndani wede me mara anyi anyi ne we ebigbuko na erewe meme anya marigerewe meme suwe wananya nde wananya bu anya degwa se oge kene bụ oge ka anyị wee ke ji ife dị na anyị wee medozi obodo wee anya gba nkịtị tie n'ọnụ. I shall go to Rabbi.
It's obvious this was your advocacy for this week.
No, it was not my advocacy.
No, we also they talk to.
It's the case. You see, because this
you are talking to your people, not to us.
This one started from my business.
You are still fighting for states.
Yeah.
When we are supposed to be collapsing, collapse Ekiti, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Lagos, Ogun. It's one, call it
we have
West.
to do what is in the constitution.
Which constitution?
No, creation of state is in the constitution.
I think
collapsing state is not in the constitution.
I think that
Matawari of Zamfara was living in Abuja.
no, so to create
Just combine states. Let's have 10 states.
No, you are deflating my
to create a state, like there's a proposed Olu state, which will be cut from somewhere. You cut from Imo, Abia, and so on. In this case too, nobody says that to create a new state, you won't have to take from, or even add some to some. It's creation. But where I think Barrister's case is going is that if we succeed with state creation in the Fourth Republic, it will be the first time in a long while that we on our own sat down, met face to face, and created states. All the states, I'm coming.
Oh God,
all the states you have
I can't
today.
wait for you to
I'm coming. All the states you have today, you listen to me now. All the states you have today were the work of the military. For example, Delta State, you have Asaba as capital.
Oh, Cyril.
It was
Where I am going to is to say that.
What you are going to is not recognized by law now.
Hold on.
30 governors in 2024
Yes.
spent 968 billion
Why is it?
on refreshment.
Why is it?
Imagine that you only have 10 governors.
So they will spend more.
What would the people do?
They will spend more. The case is a lie. They will spend more.
I say it's a lie.
No, see the case is making.
It's easier to go and hotel people by that.
See the case is making. You have so
Your case is state creation.
No.
My own case.
No.
You're not getting it.
It's beyond that. So let me pick an item out for you, for example. There is a possibility in that aspect. I think it was under Odwan where they created the super deck.
Yes.
Okay.
2007.
It was an attempt to say that let the oil producing people benefit substantially from their wealth, because it is from them that all the money we are getting comes to Delta, whether it's for allocation or not.
That cannot
Now,
be too much to ask for.
people have been lumped into somebody's idea to form a new state, Anioma state, in which a few local government areas have a oil bearing
6.
and they'll be cut into somebody's vision, so that whereas he has the bag in hand, they'll be feeding the person's dream of a new state. Well, okay, so now we have this, but the people who have the wealth, who have the say in what goes on in the state. Why was there no consultation to say, guys, we want to form a new state, let's move together as one, and let it be our dream. How do you want it? If the new state comes, where should we put the university? Where should we put the sports stadium? Where should we put facilities? Where should we create roads? What is the master plan for the new state?
That's exactly what they are saying.
But there. Somebody has gone to Abuja to say, and then he has gone to say that he wants to put they said Anioma state in the southeast.
In the southeast, whereas this is
previously in the southeast, there have been clamor for other states. I think Wawa state, and now there's Olo. If your goal is to create a 6th state in the southeast, okay,
using Delta,
what is the basis for that?
It's a misnomer.
Those are the arguments, and then you now add other factors. So, for example, there have also been the quest for Toribe state, which Professor J.P. Clark made before he died. Toribe. You know that is if you're going to create this by cultural affinity
or linguistic.
Yes, you have the Ijos in Ondo, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, and they are not really caught in a way that if it means that if you go to Ondo, they are minority. If you go to Edo, they are minority. If you go to Delta, everywhere you go, even in Rivers State,
except Bayelsa.
Except Bayelsa, where they are all Ijo as one. So now, then my own other question is, even if we're going to create more states or collapse them as you say now, what should be the criteria for state creation? These are the things we should be discussing, so that people can come as partners. Yes. No. Creation or recreation. If you use economics, okay, as the criterion,
which is what I want to use for criterion of creation of village state, so that we can control our goals.
No, why do you not want Christians? I thought it says it's not necessary.
Oh, it's following your leadership because we have already advocated collapse all of them.
Let's not lose sight of this advocacy.
Mungo.
One, Anioma state, for many of us in the southeast, should remain in the current
south.
In the south, or well, is south because of that side of the Niger. So let it remain there, because why? You see, Okwani land has huge gas deposits. I don't know whether it's even the largest.
The largest in the whole of Africa.
Yes. So, but the expected development has not.
It's not there.
Now,
Hold on, sir. Creation of a state would develop the place.
I'm going forward now.
No, it's going somewhere.
So
that's why I want to discuss the terms of that creation.
Now, you're now pulling at both ends. There's Asaba, there's Warrior Braka, and then Okwan is in the center. Yes, the idea is that you want to create states that have linguistic affinity. Put areas that have linguistic affinity in one place, which is good and fine, and is also necessary, because because of time, there are certain things I would have brought up about the inequities of putting some of these
diverse
nationalities, ethnic nationalities into Delta states. That is a discussion for another day. And that is why Okwane people are in the middle of nowhere. Because as our people are conveniently, economically,
and they have no drop of oil. They have no drop of oil.
So that is it. It is very important. I don't know how Senator Ned Nwoko was trying to, drag that South affinity with Onitsha and Ogbaru. Yes, there is this linguistic affinity, but you see, it's already a settled matter over centuries.
Over time.
Yeah.
So if you are doing anything with, state creation along, there should just
Another question.
Be spelled out.
There are no other senators from Delta that can shut him down and say, Ned, sit down.
No, they are doing that already. There's a serious debate right now.
Which is why I say it's your advocacy. You are speaking for your
but the point is this. It's very, very important that justice be done for Okwane people. I'm just looking at it from a different. I'm not from Okwane.
That's why.
I'm not from Okwane, but because I
Have you been to Elisha? Where our gold is soiling our water, and we do not have affinity to the gold.
Hold on.
It's all being
The only federal presence in the one land as we speak
it's a federal prison.
the federal prison. That's the only federal presence in Dokwa land, and that was built
The land is very fertile for prisons.
Correctional center.
in the 60s.
Correctional center.
So it's unfortunate.
that must be corrected.
Yes.
That
So
injustice must be corrected.
when we come back, Emeka Madunagu will be telling us a personal experience of how Nigeria happened to two extended relatives. That will be right after the short break. Stay with us. Middleman.
Welcome back to the Middleman, my case. And Nigeria happened. There's a common expression of hope often raised at the time against untoward happenings arising from the tardiness in Nigeria. May Nigeria not happen to you. Yes, it is often expressed as a psychological shield against the lack of good governance. However, Nigeria happened to my extended family. It left a betrothed daughter of my extended family dead and a son badly injured. In a bid to rescue an indigene of the town from abductors, vigilantes exchanged bullets with the terrorists. At the last count, 3 people lay dead and 2 injured. Wow. How do we return the bride price paid on the 22-year-old girl's head? My verdict, by an Onuga and the divided Emilio crowd can posture all the life that all is well under President Bola Tinubu. But I pray, may Nigeria not happen to them. If insecurity and bad governance were issues, we will be conversely hoping that Nigeria happens to us. Well, until such a day that Nigeria becomes a real nation, may Nigeria not happen to us.
I coined it. A lot of people don't know that I coined it. May Nigeria not happen to you. It was coined by Jumoke. And Governor Fashola said to me that it's not a positive, way of seeing Nigeria. So I now said, okay, may Nigeria happen to you. If that's the positive one. And I've never seen anyone say amen to that one. But this case is serious. It's unfortunate. And again, I pray may Nigeria never happen to me, because everything associated with Nigeria now seems negative. From people dying of hunger. I mean, look at the videos that we came across during the Salah holidays, where all over the streets, right, there were people begging for food.
There was a woman that sold his daughter for 30,000 naira.
Just so that she could eat.
Yeah, after they gave her food, she now came to consciousness.
Horror
and she was now saying that I was impatient. Started looking for the buyer. The buyer was nowhere to be found.
Jesus. Then during the holidays also, just as President Tinubu arrived in Nigeria, the MD of Fawani, right? Fuani, that's the name, was kidnapped in Ikoyi.
That's even a great.
Not just one of them.
And the family said police should not put an in the matter.
Police now came out and said they rescued them. A Twitter on X now said rescued who? Or they were, maybe after ransom was paid, they were dumped in Ekpe. And they started eating with the community members. When those was now called police, they were come. We have Lebanese here, we will come and carry them. So going to pick them in the community.
Rescue them from that.
Going to pick them in the community is what they call rescue. May Nigeria not happen to us?
You know, in this case, the police claimed that they were the same. That they were the one that that brought my sister out of the gutter. Whereas there was another matter at the police station where somebody was knocked down by a vehicle and killed by a vehicle the previous day. So the youth wanted him buried immediately. They were at the station waiting for the DPO. When the DPO arrived, they told him that they must bury the man immediately that day because he was saying they should wait for the public holidays to pass so that they'll get police report. They said they were not interested in any of that. They must bury the man that day. It was while they were at the station, they now heard the gunshots, the heavy gunshots, because those guys came fully armed.
Wow. So
they heard the gunshots, and then the DPO said he was going to investigate what was amiss. So how the police, where the DPO was still in police station, which is about more than 2 kilometers away, by the time he got there, the guys had left. So it tells you that part of the expression "may Nigeria not happen to anyone" is the fact that even the police are claiming things
they didn't do
and now covering up for their tardiness, which is even bad enough.
The Nigerian
saying they rescued
no be today now. You rescue people, no gunfire.
No gunfire.
No
interactions.
And they said they took them to the hospital. Whereas it was my people.
Okay.
So my kinsmen that actually went to that were at the side, they were at the scene of that burial. The person that was not going to
you see,
they were there while waiting for the DPO to sort of somewhere at the burial venue. Some went to the police station. So some of those at the burial venue now some that when they had all the commotion and everything, and they heard people say somebody's in the gutter. It was this my sister. They brought her out, took her to the hospital, paid the hospital bills.
Wow.
The girl died. And the police are claiming that they were the ones that took her, and one of my brothers who was shot in stomach, that they took him to the police station.
All these things they are claiming.
Hospital.
All these things they are claiming. So that what will happen? So that it will be that they are working on it.
That they are working. That is it.
They
are not working.
But you saw how they rejected the police recruitment list some days ago. This is what you call police. What are they really?
How are they recruited? How are they recruited?
Reject.
You understand? So you see, when we begin to discuss police vis-a-vis the security of the human capital in Nigeria, we'll just be wasting our time discussing that. Okay, the New York Times made a reference to the fact that Nigerians produce everything for themselves, that they are all government unto themselves.
Yes.
Our governments are shouting.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is the lie there?
Did rejoin that.
Look at the kind of police force we keep. Look at the way they treat the citizens. If you take a case to the police station now, as a lawyer, I am privy to this. You know what the police will do? When they see you, they'll say, that thing that the man, they come and give us your statement. Give us your statement. Lawyer, bring your client. Yeah, give us a statement. When they give the statement, they will now say, you go mobilize us, so we have to go and arrest. We need to take vehicle, we'll buy fuel, we'll do this. You give them money. When you give them money, they will now ask you to bring the number of the suspects. They will call the suspect on phone to report. Now, if the suspect reports, they will not have to rent car or do all those things they're saying. They'll just collect the money. Then they'll start to negotiate with the suspect. They'll collect money from the suspect, collect money from the complainant, and then summon the two sides. The day you both appear there, they will not be confused. You will not see the IPO again. The IPO will now send another junior to superintend.
Lawyer.
Now we saying the IPO go outside work. But he say make I follow na talk.
Lawyer.
When I go outside, go agree. They say two of you to go and agree. When you have agreed on this time, you come back. You say, I was going to talk today. Go and give us something.
Sorry for
lawyer.
So,
see, I was
where we are going to.
Lawyer.
I don't know where we are going to.
Everything has cause, right, and effect.
Yes, there's such
you
a
say,
thing as
how
cause and effect.
the police handle Nigerians. How do Nigerians handle the rains? We put them on band E for electricity 4 hours a day. Their barracks are not fit for animals. Then you pay them the lowest in the world, right? Then you call them the most corrupt, and the second most corrupt in the world. So when you recruit and you are looking for half illiterate or hungry people, and then you give them the weapon.
People who did they pass the test?
Yes.
Did they pass fitness test?
Yes.
Did they pass intelligence test?
You now give them AK-47 and pay them 40,000 naira.
In the Kodo, they used to, you see police rapping Igbo with the street boys, and they will be giving high five, rapping police with Nigerian. We are finished though.
If they find
video of the police,
we are finished.
Opening a
door for Yahoo boy.
And
holding the money for the boy to be spraying.
For the boy to be spraying.
Now, the police, the police will investigate the matter.
I empathize with your family. I accept our condolences on this table. Again, for the last time, I will pray, may Nigeria not happen to the rest of us. But you see, for Nigeria not to happen to the rest of us, we cannot just sit and continue to complain. We must take action. Because the people who represent us do not fall from Ghana or Togo or Benin. They are Nigerians. A lot of us are complaining about what we are worse than. Because the APC government, when they were complaining about Jonathan, they knew all the solutions. I accused Governor Fashola that he knew all the solutions to creating power until he became the Minister of Power. Darkness pervaded the land. He is willing buyer, willing seller scheme. Is now looking like a fraud where lawsuit everywhere. They can no longer produce the 22
that is what this ban ate something.
Yes, now.
That there should be disparity.
That the people that can afford
those that have money should have light.
They should pay higher.
Those that don't have money should not have light. When light is social amenities.
That should be basic 24 hours across board, regardless of your social status.
You are not a serious government when you begin to say ban A, ban B.
Are you a serious citizen when you allow this kind of people to lead you?
It's madness.
What kind of economy are you then going to create? Because, like I always say, there must be a philosophy guiding anything you're doing. Look at your misery or poverty
misery index. We are the happiest in the world.
The people you're feeding power to and the amount of power you're feeding to them, what kind of productivity will that result in ultimately? And what is your national development agenda? That will be feeding. So when there's nothing like that, where there's no vision, the people just do. Is that what you call it? Or so that's where we are. We must go back to what Obasanjo did when he was in power. There was a document called Needs.
He did nonsense. So
look, it may not be perfect, but give us a vision. Local government chairmen are keen into it. Governors are keen into it. Okay. The government at the federal is also keen into it. Just say we are heading this way, but without a grand vision of that kind. How do we know where we are heading? True. Tomorrow,
one day we will sit in this country and invoke the God of creation, thunder and everything, to consume some.
Sir, you did it 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Nothing has happened.
No, the effect is there. Don't joke with the capacity of the cosmos. I'm just telling you, don't joke with the capacity. It's coming. It's living deposit as I'm investing in that area. You understand? The day it will bring its own revolution.
Yes.
I'm telling you, things will change. Yes. You know, it was in the Bible that prophets will look at their king and say, you know what, with this thing you just did now, rain will not fall in the next 4 years. we can begin to tap into that kind of dimension if maybe civility will not work. Some kind of spiritual radicalism.
No, but I always said it now.
Some spiritual radicalism will begin to work.
In Nigeria, not happen to you.
I'm telling you.
Well, that's all on the Middlemen today. I hope you enjoyed being with us. Thank you, jurors, for being with me on the show today.
Very well.
To our viewers, we also appreciate your time. You may subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across social media at Enterprise TV7. And also visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Middleman. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.